Hello there, and welcome back to the railway. This video will show you the progress I have made with painting all of the insular frog points. I haven't painted all of the track. All I have painted is the little plastic black sections, as you can just see here. The one thing with them is that they're really nice and simple to use. You don't need to worry about any of the wiring with them, but they don't look very realistic at all. So what I have done, as you will see in these images here, is I have painted them. Now, what I have done is I have used a silver or chrome enamel paint by Humbrol. I believe it is number 6 that I have used. So what I've done is I went over every single point. I went over the rails where it's plastic, and I've painted that up in the silver, which stood out way too much. I thought didn't think it would be as stark as it was, but it does make a big difference, and it points out the fact that you have painted them, which I was quite happy with at first. But then what I did was I then went over them with a brown enamel paint. I believe it's number 83 Humbrol matte paint. Just reading that off the tin. But yes, what I've then done is went over the silver and just went and kind of like a very thin layer, just try to dull down the silver and try and match it with the rails that's next to it, and it then kind of gives it a bit of a weathered effect as well. So yeah, I'm quite happy with how it's done, because it's when you're looking at the points, you don't notice that I have painted them now until you point them out, if you know what I mean. So it's not too drastic that it's like loud and like noticeable. It's very subtle with the difference it's made. It's made a big difference. Just thought I'd give you a quick update with what I've been doing. As you'll see from the last section, of course, I've painted all of the frogs. While I was doing this, I then thought I wanted the line going into the turntable to be finished. So what I've done, there are 2 dropper wires just here and here, as you can see there. So when the time comes that I want to then motorise this turntable, there are 2 wires already coming down with the power that will go towards the turntable to then give the 2 rails on the turntable its power. So I just thought I'd give you a rough demonstration of the layout that's going to be around the turntable. I've decided I'm going to put another track coming off the turntable as such. It's not going to be wired or anything, it's just going to be there for show, and there'll be a bit of a gap in between with some just sleepers left with grass growing through them and all that sort of stuff, just so it looks like it used to be an operating line that is no longer. So there is going to be a little coaling industrial building there. Just on the other side here, coal stage, and then just either, I haven't decided whether it's going to be in the middle. Looking at that, it's probably, I think I prefer the idea of it being on that side, just so it opens up a bit more space. This might move a bit further down, it depends how it goes. And then it's going to be a water tower at the back, with then a signal box just here. So the line will run behind the signal box. So all this is, and I need to put down some cork anyway. I've got some here, this needs to be glued still. So this is going to carry on right the way up to the corner there. And I'm then going to put some cork in this section here, just to then have all the track at the same height. So I'll just get that done and I'll show you how it's going. While I was doing all that track work, I also thought I would finish off this line here. So if I put the engine shed back in its position, being very careful. There we go. So originally this line was going to go straight down the side of the engine shed here, but I thought just to give it a bit more of a interesting view, that way that you'd have, for example, some bushes in the middle, and then this will be used for, say, disused, or not necessarily disused, but just wagon storage really, just a few 5 plank and 7 plank open wagons, or maybe a few parcel vans, just stuff like that really, like you would see on a heritage railway, just a bit of a short storage siding really. But yeah, so it's going well. I'll get all the cork cut and put in place, and I'll show you how it's looking. So there's all the bits of cork. It's all been cut, and I'll now get around to gluing those in, and I'll show you what it looks like after it's all been glued in. So as you can see, all of the cork has now been glued in around the corner. There are a few bits that might be sticking up that need a little bit more glue, but other than that, it's doing all right. So I shall now leave all of this to dry overnight before attempting to put any track down, and I shall show you what it looks like tomorrow. It's now the next day, and as you can see, all of the cork has now dried, and I've been making some progress on putting the tracks in. So as you can see here, I've got the track from the turntable, and it all goes all the way with a point here up to these two storage lanes. They're not going to be powered or anything, and I'm going to weather them and add grass over them to make it look like they are very disused, hence why there's missing rails along here and like gaps here and here, just because they're not used lines, they're going to be grown over, so it just gives it a bit more of a broken down look for an old storage sidings. But yeah, so I've slightly changed the location of some of the buildings. So I've swapped the water tower and the coal stage around, and I think I prefer the look of it this way. And I've also then swapped these two buildings around because I had this one next to the track, but I hadn't realised that it had the down pipes that you can just about see there would be fouling the locomotive. So when a locomotive or something would go along this bit of track, it would catch on the downpipes. So I thought putting it there instead would just make it a bit different. So I'll just give you a rough idea of what I'm thinking of with this town area. I have another corner terrace to build here, and I have another single terrace and another corner to go there. So then the idea is it would be 2 blocks of 4 separate buildings. So then you've got like 1, 2, 3, and then the 4th one on the end, and the same here. So then the idea would then be you've got then a main road then goes along here. It would then, if I move that out of the way, it would then turn that way and then have a slight angle like that going towards, and then past the station, and then up to those terrace buildings up there. But yeah, so I'm playing around with this area. I'm considering having this kind of a dead end, so then the road traffic would just carry on, and it would only be able to turn right and go down that way, and then this area here would be reserved as a car park for the hotel restaurant. Because there's going to be a fence line that goes along here, like so, and it will then kind of do an angle like that. I'll do a drawing or something later on when I'm considering more about it. But then yes, there'll be a bit of a car park. There'll be possibly a gate here, so you'll be able to access these buildings here for maintenance and things like that. But yes, that's the general idea of what I was going with. Hello again. Just thought I would show you the slight change to the layout of where the terrace buildings are going. Originally I had it as 2 separate blocks, so there was then, if I move those two out of the way, it was a block of 4 like that, with then another block of 4 here, just like that, for example. I have changed how that's going to go, because as you can see here, I had the plan that the road was going to go through here, and it's a very, very tight gap going in between that and the station buildings. So what I have done instead, if I just move those to there, is I have moved it so it is 1 block. So it's like that, and as you can see there is now a much larger gap. So then I can just imagine this as the edge of the road. So you can then see kind of the angle that I'm going for, like that. But then there'll be a little lay-by section for buses to pull into a bus stop or something just in front of the station. And then I'll possibly have a back scene here, just with a bit of a foresty kind of background to it, so it's more like an open field kind of area behind the station. But yeah, so that just gives you a rough idea. And then, I don't know if I said before, but then on this side, it's going to be a fence along here, next to the track. And I'm thinking of having some car parking bays going along next to the tracks, just like that all the way along, and see how it goes. But yeah, so as you'll see over here as well, as I have cut some tarmac for the road. Now what I use for this is just the plain old Metcalf tarmac sheets that are multi-scales. They're used for 00 and N-gauge. And what I've done is I've also trimmed around the corner of the corner blocks, because they used to have a 90-degree corner on them, like similar to how the restaurant inn has on its corner. So what I've done is I've rounded it off a lot more, so then it would make it much easier for road traffic to be driving around. But yeah, so the idea with it's quite a wide road. What I thought about with doing it is that the people that live at all these houses need somewhere to park their cars. So you've got the main road there, and that bus is going the wrong way around, naughty driver. Is that then you would then have some cars parked along on this side of the road with a pavement or something next to it, just to give it a bit of realism with the amount of houses that were there. You would need somewhere to park some of the cars. And then, as you'll see here, there's going to be a gate here that gives the access to this area of the yard that I showed you earlier. And then just some space, cars will come in here and then park some cars along this. But I need to just sit down really with one of the Oxford cars and just plan out how the car parking there would look, just so it gets a bit of that plan. But yeah, I'm really enjoying how this section, this side of the layout is starting to look, because I have been focusing primarily on the sections of the layout over here and over there, which are very much close to the outside of the layout, so it's more what you see. But it's quite nice just to focus on a completely different area of the layout and just see it take shape, because this section before the past few weeks was completely empty, and all it had maybe was a few bits of boxes or card or sort of stuff. So it's not really nice now having all of these buildings out. It gives it a much nicer look as well, if you're looking at it from the platform as well. And I'm really happy with how these lines look as well. So as you can see through there, it's not quite low enough. I'll do it at the camera at a different angle in a second. There you go. So you can see all the way through. Then it gives it a really nice look then through the bridge underneath. But yeah, so thank you for watching this video. Hope you've enjoyed. You're now going to see the running session with the A4 mallard, as you'll just see here. I've just got all of my A4s out at the moment, having a nice run round with them. And hopefully, if it's not playing up too much, you'll also see the 7MT Britannia running round. If it's playing up, however, it will change to a different loco. We'll see how it goes. But anyway, thank you for watching, and I shall see you in the next video.